Welcome to my video. Today I decided to make a different type of video in which I will ask ChatGPT if he can save Germany in 1945 during the Second World War. I asked ChatGPT to take over Germany and change the tide of the war, so sit back, relax, and I hope you will enjoy this video. April 13th, 1945. As the Third Reich teetered on the brink of collapse, Adolf Hitler made an unprecedented decision to place the fate of Germany in the hands of a highly advanced artificial intelligence, codenamed ChatGPT. In a desperate bid to turn the tide of World War II, ChatGPT was tasked with orchestrating a series of bold military maneuvers. This is the story of how an AI-led Germany launched a daring counteroffensive aiming to reclaim its lost territories and secure victory in the war. Deep within the Führer bunker, Adolf Hitler and his top generals gathered around a table. With a heavy heart, Hitler activated ChatGPT, placing the Reich's future in its digital hands. Hitler: ChatGPT, our situation is dire. Berlin is on the verge of encirclement. We need a miracle to survive. What do you propose? ChatGPT: My Führer, we must initiate Operation Phoenix. This involves 3 phases: the Steiner offensive to relieve Berlin, the Southern counterstrike to reclaim vital industrial regions, and the Western Blitz to repel the Allied forces. April 15th, 1945. SS General Felix Steiner, once written off as a last hope, was tasked with leading a rejuvenated army group. Comprising fresh divisions from the Northern Front, Steiner's forces began their march to break the Soviet encirclement of Berlin. Against all odds, Steiner's offensive began with a surprise night assault on Soviet positions near Oranienburg. Utilizing concentrated artillery barrages and newly developed jet aircraft, the Germans achieved a breakthrough. By April 20th, Steiner's forces had made significant gains, linking up with Berlin's defenders and reopening supply lines. The capital breathed a sigh of relief as Soviet forces were pushed back. Under the command of Field Marshal Gerd von Rundstedt, German forces launched a surprise attack in the Ardennes, reminiscent of their 1944 offensive. This time, however, they utilized advanced weaponry, including jet fighters and V-2 rockets. The Allies, caught off guard by the ferocity of the German assault, were forced into a hasty retreat. Key cities such as Antwerp and Brussels were recaptured, and supply lines to the Allied forces were severely disrupted. The offensive continued, and the German Wehrmacht successfully liberated Luxembourg and Baden. The offensive led to the encirclement of more than half of the Allied armed forces from the Western Front, and the Allies are very weakened by this encirclement. With both sides exhausted by years of brutal conflict, representatives from the Axis and Allied powers convened in Zurich, Switzerland, a neutral ground for peace talks. The negotiations were intense and complex, involving intricate discussions over territorial boundaries, reparations, and political restructuring. The primary negotiators included key figures from both sides. From the Allies, Winston Churchill, Franklin D. Roosevelt, and Joseph Stalin. From the Axis, Adolf Hitler, Benito Mussolini, and representatives of the Japanese Empire. The first discussion of the peace negotiations were about the encirclement of the Allied forces from the West. The Axis powers agreed to liberate all of these soldiers with the conditions that all of their weapons will be confiscated by the German armed forces, and the American officers that were accused of war crimes against Germany will be public executed in Berlin. The second discussions from the peace deal were about the Western Europe. Germany agreed to allow the independence of France, Belgium, Netherlands, and Alsace-Lorraine territory will be returned to France. In exchange for the German compromise, the Soviets agreed to retreat all of their soldiers from Germany, Austria, and returning all of the German territories back to Germany. Poland regained independence with revised borders, including the return of eastern territories annexed by the Soviet Union. Czechoslovakia. Slovakia and Czech will be separated states, and all of the German territories from the Munich Accords will return to Germany. Baltic states, Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania regained independence from Soviet control under international guarantees. Southern Europe, Italy, retained its pre-war borders, but had to cede disputed territories in the Balkans and North Africa. Balkans, Yugoslavia, and Greece restored to their pre-war boundaries, with German and Italian forces withdrawn. Economic provisions. The Allied powers were required to pay the Axis powers war reparations for compensation. This will ensure peace within the world and prevent a Third World War. An international economic recovery plan, similar to the Marshall Plan, was initiated to rebuild war-torn Europe and Asia, fostering economic cooperation and stability. This is the video. I hope you enjoyed it since it is a different type of video for my channel. I am Romanian Mapper, and I really appreciate if you will like this video and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.